Hello, welcome to Wildside Yoga Studies Institute. My name is Alfonso, and today we're having a 30-minute moving in alignment yoga asana class. This class is perfectly suited for beginner students that want to learn the foundations of an alignment-based yoga asana practice, but it's also perfectly suited for intermediate students that want to deepen their understanding on the foundations of an alignment-based yoga asana practice. Great. Today, we're going to be exploring Asteya, the third of the yamas, and the fruit of abundance. So Asteya can be translated as non-stealing from others. And if we understand this seed system, we know that if we steal from others, then we're going to get our things stolen, or we're going to lose our things. And that's pretty easy to understand. But in a certain way, there's very subtle ways of stealing. We can even be stealing from others things and property, but we could also be stealing time from others. So it's very subtle. And in the scriptures, it says, and actually in the 37th verse of the third chapter of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, he says, Asteya Pratishtayam Sarva Ratnopastanam. So if you make non-stealing a way of life, then it will come a time where people will come to you and give you everything you need, all the money that you need. And that's why it's a state of abundance. And to understand this, we have to take non-stealing a little bit further. So to think of what's the opposite of non-stealing. The opposite of stealing is to be able to give freely. And when we give freely, when we're generous, then we're planting the seeds of abundance. And that becomes really the way in which this can become the seed of abundance and the fruit of abundance. So take an instant to realize at what extent you can start to give freely in your life. Not only not steal, but give freely. Like for example, right now, you're giving yourself freely, you're giving yourself time to practice. You're giving yourself time to invest in yourself, in your body, in your mind. And see to what extent, as we remove the blockages in our body, as we settle our minds through our practice today, you can make it a way of life off the mat. Not only not to steal, but mostly to give freely to others in your life and to be generous, so you can be planting the right seeds to ripen the fruit of abundance as they are. Great. So let's start. Make sure you're sitting in a comfortable sitting pose and that your spine is long and straight. And then simply allow your eyes to close and bring your awareness to the natural movement of your breath. So see if you can stop controlling your breath or manipulating your breath in any way, and simply allowing it to take place naturally as you bring your awareness to settle with the natural movement of your breath. And as the breath becomes more available, see if you can invite your body to settle. And as the body settles, see if you can feel your mind settling. And as the body and mind settle, allow your awareness to expand and include your entire experience, everything that can be felt, experienced for you right now. And as you notice all the different parts of your experience, see if you can soften your relationship with all the different parts of your experience, especially those parts of the experience that seem challenging in any way. In this way, opening to the possibility of allowing the experience to be exactly as it is. And then invite your hands to come together to the center of the chest, opening the space for our practice with the sound Om one time. In breath. You can allow your hands to release, allow your eyes to open, and maybe you can allow yourself to smile. Great. Smiling gives us a great start for our practice and releases any unnecessary tension in and around the face. Great. Okay, so let's start. For this practice, I'll be using a couple of blocks. I really feel that blocks help us with the alignment of the space in our practice. So if you want to use your blocks, you can use your blocks. If you're not using your blocks, I will still give you cues to keep the alignment. But if you do use the blocks, I really feel they help us with the alignment. Okay, great. So let's come into our mat and let's come into all fours. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the pelvis. And from here, we're going to start with the cat cow briefly to warm up our spine a bit. So be attentive that the movement is being initiated with the back of the pelvis, and it moves all through the pelvis all the way to the top of the head. So inhale, pelvis moving up, belly down, head up. Exhale, pelvis down, belly up, head down. And continue at your own rhythm, connecting the movement with your breath, allowing the movement to become more fluid, more natural, while it stays precise, starting from the back of the pelvis, moving vertebra by vertebrae all the way to the top of the head. And see if you can feel every little vertebrae moving one by one, instead of feeling big blocks of your body that move all at once. And with the exhale, now keep the back rounded. Feel the space in between your shoulder blades. Engage the navel slightly to feel the lower back stretch a bit. And then with the inhale, coming back to the center. Okay, great. Now you're going to walk your hands slightly forward. Spread the fingers. Tuck the toes under. And you're going to bring your pelvis back slightly, align the ears with your arms. Keeping the upper body as still as you can. Inhale. And then exhale, pushing the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Coming up, lifting into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Feel the thighs engage. We're going to refine a bit. So inhale, tips of the toes. Feel the pelvis lifting. Feel the hip creases lifting. And keeping the pelvis as high up as you can. Keeping the arms long, face soft. Exhale, lengthening the heels towards the floor. And then inhale, tips of the toes. Exhale, unrolling vertebra by vertebra from the back of the pelvis into the plank pose. And then inhale, lower the pelvis, open the chest, broaden the collarbones, active legs. And then exhaling, pushing the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Hip crease up, heels up. Once again, inhale, tips of the toes. From the back of the pelvis, unrolling vertebra by vertebra, coming into the plank pose. Inhale, lower the pelvis, open the chest, broaden the collarbones. And then exhale again, push the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Keep crease up, heels up. We're going to do this warm-up wave one last time. Inhale, tips of the toes. From the back of the pelvis, exhaling vertebra by vertebra, coming into the plank pose. And then inhale, lower the pelvis, open the chest, broaden the collarbones. And then exhaling, pushing the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Keep crease up, heels up. Inhale, bend your legs, look in between your hands. Walk or step to come between your hands. Long back, parallel to the floor. Exhale, belly to the thighs, forward bend. And from here, interlace your fingers over the back. Project your arms forward and up. Head releasing, shoulders settling. Soften the skin of the backs of your legs.
See if you can bring the pelvis slightly over the heels as you keep the toes soft and the arches of the feet away from the floor. And now change the crossing of your fingers. Index and pinky change places. Project the arms again. Keep softening the skin of the backs of the legs. Allow the face to soften, the breath to deepen. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, release the arms to the floor. Inhale, long back, parallel to the floor. Exhale, belly to the thighs. And then inhale, lengthen the back of the pelvis to the floor, arms to the sides, open chest, broad collarbones, arms up. And then exhaling, hands together in the center of the chest. Release your arms to the sides. Make sure you're in front of the mat. I'm just going to turn myself briefly so you can see it slightly better. Keep your feet parallel. Big toes can be touching, heels apart, or your feet can be hip width apart, but keep that alignment of having the toes slightly closer to the heels. From the back of the pelvis, lengthening to the four corners of the feet. You can feel the toes spreading and then softening, releasing against the mat. Engage the thighs, feel the kneecaps moving up. Lengthen the back of the pelvis, feeling the lower ribs coming in. Settle the shoulders back, chin parallel to the floor, slightly moving towards the back of the head. Tadasana, mountain pose. Make sure you're in the front of the mat. Settle. Inhale. Exhale, hands together in the center of the chest. Inhale. In the softness of the exhale, lengthening the arms up. Inhale, engage the thighs. Exhale, up and over the firm thighs. Forward bend. Uttanasana. Inhale, long back, parallel to the floor. Exhale, belly to the thighs. Hands on the mat. Right and left foot back. Balanasana plank pose. Exhale, Adho Chaturanga Dandasana, directly lowering the pelvis, opening the chest, burning the collarbones. Whatever variation is best for you with the feet. Just keep the legs engaged, the heels lengthening back. And then exhale, push the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Hip crease up, heels up. Keeping the left thigh fully engaged. Exhale, lengthen the right leg towards the back wall. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right foot in between your hands. You can come into the tips of your fingers so you can grab your blocks. Ideally, you have your blocks, give you a little bit more space, stability. Lengthen the spine, make sure the back leg is lifting, especially the back inner thigh. Bring in the inner elbows slightly towards the front, shoulders settling back, spine lengthening. Without walking your feet from the right hip crease, exhale, lengthen the right leg. Feel the right hip crease moving back, left hip crease moving forward. Spine lengthening. Face soft, chest soft. And then exhale, bend the right leg again. Stabilize your legs. Once the legs become very stable, you can bring both hands on the right thigh. Inhale. In the softness of the exhale, lengthening the arms up. Face soft, chest soft. Inner smile. Inhale. Exhale, hands on the blocks. You can bring the blocks to the lowest height. Stabilize. Keep your left hand under the left shoulder. Bring the right hand in the back of the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, turn the belly, ribcage, and chest. Lengthening the right arm up. Face up, chest up. Inner smile. And then exhaling, hands on the blocks. Bringing the block up. Stabilize. And then, without walking the back foot, you're going to bring the left heel to the center of the mat. Heels are aligned in the same line. Then you're going to come slightly up, bringing the hand on top of the thigh, and then bringing the left hand behind the pelvis. Notice the left shoulder moving back. And you can bring your left hand either on the back of the pelvis or around the waist to grab the thigh. So here you have to notice, anytime the buttock is moving out towards the mat, you're loosening the pose. You want to bring the buttock into the groin So you can keep the knee in alignment. Okay? And from here, coming up all the way. Great. Breathe. If it's available for you, you can try to interlock your hands under, keeping the buttock into the ground. Or keep the variation up here. Great. Now bring your hand on the block. Lengthen the leg slightly. And then again, bend the leg. Walk your block as forward as you can, aligned with the little toes. Inhale. And then taking little steps or going directly, you come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Left foot pressing to an imaginary wall. Open the chest. Broaden the collarbones. Stabilize. And then exhaling with control, going back, all the way back. Bringing the block back. Blocks to the sides. Turn the left foot, hand on the mat. Right foot back, Balasana plank pose. Exhale, Ardha Chaturanga Dandasana. And directly going into the up dog. Legs engaged, heels lengthening. And then exhale, pushing the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Hip crease up, heels down. Now keeping the right thigh fully engaged. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen the left leg towards the back wall. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left foot in between the hands. You can come into the tips of the fingers, or if you have your blocks, you can come into your blocks. Having a little bit more support, more height. Keep the left knee over the left ankle. Make sure the back thigh is lifting, especially the inner thigh. The spine is lengthening, chin slightly towards the chest. And then the inner elbows are moving slightly towards the front. So you feel the shoulders rolling back, chest opening, shoulder blades towards each other. Without walking your feet from the left hip crease, exhale, lengthen the left leg. Left hip crease back, right hip crease forward. Spine lengthening. Feel the spine lengthening, the chest opening as you bring the left hip crease back, right hip crease forward. Pelvis is aligned, creating some space in the back of the leg. And then exhale, bend the leg. Stabilize. And once you stabilize, you can bring both hands on the back, on your thigh, open the chest, broaden the collarbones. Inhale, release the arms to the sides. In the softness of the out breath, lengthening the arms up. Face soft, just soft, inner smile. See if you can share an inner smile. Give yourself freely an inner smile. Planting the seeds for abundance as you're generous, even with yourself. Bring in the hands on the mat, on the block, sorry. Now, without walking the back foot, you're going to bring the right heel to the center of the mat. So heels are aligned in the same line. Arch of the foot on the back foot is moving away from the mat. And notice again what's happening with the left buttock. There's a tendency of the left buttock to want to move to the outside of the mat, compromising your knee joint. You really want to bring the buttock into the groin. Okay? And once the buttock stays with the groin, then you can bring your hand on top of the thigh. And you can bring your right hand on your hip, on the back of the pelvis. Or if it's available for you, you can bring the hand around the waist to grab your thigh. If you can grab your thigh, you can even pull on the thigh to feel that movement of the buttock coming into the ground. Looking up over your shoulder. Breathe. And if it's available for you, you can even come interlace your fingers and your arms. Bringing the buttock into the ground. Notice the buttock is not moving back, it's moving forward. Okay, or whatever variation is best. And then coming up. Hands on the blocks. Lengthen the legs slightly to release, create length. And then from the right hip, exhaling, bending the left leg. Great. Now, bring the right hand, on your right hip. And we're going to be moving into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Walk your block as forward as you can. Inhale. And then taking little steps or going directly, moving into Ardha Chandrasana. Make sure your right foot is pressing to an imaginary wall. You're using your block, and you can lengthen the arm up. Face soft, just soft. Inner smile. And then with control, you can bring your right hand on your right hip and softly bending the left leg. Bringing the heel back to alignment. Bringing the blocks to the sides, turning the right foot, hands down, Balasana plank pose. Exhale, the Chaturanga Dandasana, or directly lowering the pelvis, opening the chest, burning the collarbones. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward dog. And then exhale, push the front of the thighs to the back of the thighs. Hip crease up, heels up. And then inhale, bend your legs. Looking between your hands. And walk or step into sitting pose. And you're gonna lengthen your legs. Okay. So make sure that the skin of the buttocks is moving back, that your pelvis is in neutral, and you're sitting in both sitting bones. And now we're gonna do a slight twist. So you're gonna bring the right foot on the outside of the left knee. And if it's available for you to bend the left leg and be sitting in between both heels, you can do so, but be attentive that your pelvis is neutral. You might want to stay with the long leg, okay? The foundations is the mount of the big toe, heavy against the mat, and then the right hip crease and the right sit bone, heavy against the mat. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen the arms up. Inhale, and then exhale, turning slightly towards the right, bring the hand back, and then interlacing the hand, looking over the right shoulder. Make sure the left foot is pressing to an imaginary wall. And if it's available for you, go slightly deeper by bringing the elbow on the outside of the thigh. You can do so. 3 more breaths, face soft, chest soft. Again, offer yourself an inner smile. And then inhaling, coming back to the center, lengthening the leg. Stabilize again, make sure you're sitting in your sitting bones. And now we're going to switch sides. Left foot on the outside of the right knee. Again, you might want to keep this variation, but you can also try the variation when your legs are bent and you're sitting in between your legs. In both cases, you have the same foundation. Mount of the big toe on the left foot, and left hip crease rooting the left buttock, left sitting bone. Okay? Lengthen the spine. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen the arms. Inhale. And then exhale. Going towards your left. Interlacing your arm. Looking over the left shoulder. Breathe. Soften. Allow. And if it's available for you, you can bring the right elbow on the outside of the left thigh. Going slightly deeper into the pose. Again. Breathe. Soften. Settle. And allow. And inhaling. Coming back to the center. Between your legs. And then keeping your blocks handy. We're gonna come laying down on our mats. Keep one of your blocks handy. Settling down, bending the legs. Make sure that you can touch the heel with the longest of your fingers, ideally, not more. Bend your arms. Keep your thighs moving towards each other like you're holding an imaginary block in between your thighs. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen your arms. Inhale. And then exhaling, bending your arms, bringing the elbows next to your ribs. Open the chest, broaden the collarbones, lengthen the spine. Inhale. And then exhale, lifting the pelvis up. Lift, 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 lift. And here in Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, you can choose the variation that's best. You can use your arms as leverage. You can support the back of the thigh with your hands, or you can use the more passive approach by using the block behind the pelvis, under the pelvis. And take 3 full breaths as we release a little bit of the twisting action we did today with the supported back extension. For 2 more full deep breaths. And then slowly lifting the pelvis. If you're on your block, you can gradually come down by taking pauses step by step, or you can slowly bring vertebra by vertebra down against the mat. And coming down. And again, releasing. Great. So now we're gonna place the block behind the head, like a pillow. And we're gonna bring the thighs towards each other, and we're gonna grab the outsides of our feet and the legs into Ananda Balasana, happy pose. So make sure that the back of the pelvis is staying on the mat. So many times the pelvis will lift. We want the back of the pelvis to be lengthening, and that's why we have the block behind the head. So you want to press the block, the head against the block. So what you're doing is you're bringing the knees down, but at the same time you're unrolling the back of the pelvis. You really want to feel the back of the pelvis unrolling against the mat. Chin slightly to the chest. 3 full breaths. So it's all about lengthening the lower back by unrolling the back of the pelvis, using the pressure of your head against the block. And release. Bring your arms down. Head block to the side. Raise your arms. Open your feet mat width apart. Inhale. Exhale. Release both arms. Legs to the side. Turning to the side. And then inhale again. Legs fall to the left. Face to the right. Inhale. And then slowly bring your feet slightly towards each other. Settle your pelvis. And lengthen your legs. Coming into Shavasana for the final relaxation. You might want to bring your knees to your chest too. Roll slightly. Find the place for your pelvis. And then lengthen. Coming into Shavasana for the final relaxation. Allow the breath to deepen. The eyes to settle. Feel how you're preparing your body and mind to give freely to yourself and to others, to plant the seeds, to ripen the fruit of abundance as you make asteya, non-stealing, a way of life, even giving freely a way of life. Find your stillness and allow your entire body to be fully relaxed. Allow your breath to deepen. Engage your toes, engage your fingers. Inhale. Exhale, stretch. Bend your legs, roll to the right, in fetal pose. You can slowly come up. Find an easy sitting pose to end up your practice.
And let's end our practice with the practice of sharing. Bring your hands together in the center of the chest. Let any goodness awakened by this practice be shared by all the beings in this universe. Inhale. Thank you for your practice. Namaste.